Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel. So on today's video we are going to be doing an unboxing and a walkthrough of the Oracle deck, a Yogic Path. Now, as some of you guys may know, I'm a little bit of a collector of Oracle and Tarot cards. Now, I don't have a big collection, but it is slowly growing, and when I saw that this deck had been released, I just had to get it. So I ordered it and it arrived first thing this morning, and I'm so excited. This is such a beautiful just box, and it's a beautiful deck. Now, it's still in its original plastic packaging. I haven't actually taken it out yet. I contained my excitement this morning as I sprinted downstairs to the front door and didn't immediately rip it open. So after containing my excitement, I went about my day, and now I'm finally ready to unbox this beauty. Now, this deck is actually one of the biggest boxes I've ever received a deck in. This is the box that it actually arrives in, so this isn't the deck itself, this is just the main outside box. But it's considerably bigger than the majority of boxes you get other tarot or oracle cards in. It's huge. For size comparison, this is kind of a standard size deck of oracle cards. This box is huge. So I was expecting my mailman to be able to post it through the letterbox, and alas, he couldn't. This is kind of the size of a box set, you know, like a Friends box set, like a big DVD box set. It's really big. So immediately what springs to mind is that this is beautiful. The A Yogic Path text on the front is in metallic gold. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. And it has just the most beautiful illustrations. This is just such a beautiful deck. Down the side it says a Yogic Path down here. The back is plain white, and then the very back side of the box shows a little bit of the guidebook, the keepsake box, the card box, and a few of the cards. Now, I did do a bit of research before I went and bought this deck, and I had a look at some of the cards beforehand, and they are so unbelievably beautiful. But don't worry, I will get onto that when I finally get this big boy open. But I did want to say, just before I kind of crack open the box, that I'm going to read a little bit of the back. So this is a keepsake box. I'm unsure whether or not you can get the deck without the keepsake box. I think at the minute you can only get it with, but I'll have to do some more research, and I will put that down in the description box if it's any different. So this is a keepsake box, a 54 card oracle deck with gilded edges and a full colour guidebook. Now, immediately that is quite different from what I usually find. So oracle decks typically don't have gilded edges, usually they're just plain. It's usually fancy tarot decks that have the gilded edges, so that's really cool. And also guidebooks are usually in black and white. So something like the Wild Unknown deck, which I do have in my collection as well, the guidebook to that is in black and white. So you have to kind of put the card next to the information to kind of figure out if the colours have any meaning and whatnot. But this actually comes with a colour guidebook, which is actually really quite unusual, especially for oracle cards. So below it says, steeped in the wisdom of the Vedas. I probably said that wrong, and I do apologise. This ancient yet visionary deck is a tool to access your yogic intuition, illuminated by ethereal artwork. The cards provide insight into the present and guidance for the future, connecting to your inner wisdom and unlocking a deeper understanding of self. So that's just very beautifully worded. And then you do have a little bit of information at the bottom about the author, and you also have a little bit of information about the illustrator. Now, the author is called Sahara Rose. She hosts the top-ranking spiritualist podcast called the Higher Self Podcast, and is the best-selling author of the Eat, Feel Fresh and Idiot's Guide to Ayurveda. I can't say that word, so I'm really sorry. She has been called a leading voice for the millennial generation into a new paradigm shift by Deepak Chopra. I'm so bad at names, I'm so sorry. She loves making spiritual and Ayurvedic wisdom fun and relatable so it can serve the needs of today's people. Discover your dosha with a free quiz, and then it gives some more information. I will put all of this down in the description box for anyone that kind of wants to find all of these resources and have a look for yourself. So it then goes on to talk a little bit about the illustrator, who is called Danielle. She's a visual artist and oracle designer who weaves ancient mysticism and energy medicine into new wellness tools. She is the creator of the Star Child Tarot and the Moon Child Tarot, which you guys have probably heard of if you really enjoy kind of modern tarot and oracle. And she's also the author of the Book of Tarot, a guide for modern mystics. And she has lots of her social media information that I will also put down below. Now, a little bit of a fun fact is that one of the most popular decks around at the minute, and one of my favorites, is actually the Work Your Light deck. Now, I did notice that when I looked at the illustrations for a Yogic Path deck, that they were rather similar, and then I realized that the artwork is actually by Danielle Noel. So if you enjoy this deck, which I'll get it out, I'm going to do a full video on this deck in particular, but I'll just show you like one of the cards so you can see what I mean. If you enjoy this style of artwork where it's quite whimsical and beautiful, like really wonderful illustrations, then I think you will really like this Yogic Oracle deck. From what I can tell so far, obviously I haven't looked through the deck yet, is that it's brighter, it's more vivid than Work Your Light. This is a very pastel, very feminine deck. I know it definitely isn't solely feminine, but it is more feminine aesthetic as far as the colour schemes and also the choice of people and individuals to actually put into the deck is more feminine based. So as far as I can tell, this deck is slightly more bright, vivid, colourful than that deck. But that is all the information it says on the back. So now I'm just excited to crack into this deck. But it might take me a while because I really struggle with this plastic stuff. So after grabbing a set of scissors, I'm finally into the deck. It took me a little bit of time. So the box itself is actually completely matte. It isn't soft touch matte, it is just matte. And then all of the gold areas are metallic, so they reflect really, really beautifully. Same goes for the side. It has this beautiful metallic down it. And actually, I didn't notice, even the bottom has a pattern on it. It's got this beautiful lotus flower pattern. The back is completely matte, which honestly I don't mind because metallic is expensive to make. So I have a feeling this is just a sleeve. Yes, it is. So this is just a sleeve that kind of fits over the box. Oh my god, that's so beautiful. So you take the sleeve off and underneath is this beautiful white box. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. I have no idea how I'm going to display this now because I figured that this would be the prettiest bit, but I'm not so sure. Like, this is really, really beautiful. And it even has the beautiful mandala on the back in metallic. This is stunning. And then it's my favorite kind of box, which is a side opening box. So it is magnetic, so you can easily close it, and then it opens like this. Oh wow, okay, this is really cool. So they have put so much attention to detail in here. So this is how it looks on the inside. So this little bit here says, "May these cards bridge you to your highest self." That is beautiful. And right on top, you have this huge guidebook. This is probably the biggest guidebook I've ever seen in an oracle deck. It's really hard. That's insane. Okay, right, so I'm gonna take the guidebook out before I look at anything else. So the guidebook immediately is different from usual. So this is what the guidebook looks like. It's got the beautiful mandala. It's a beautiful kind of peacock blue. It's so nice. This is soft touch matte. It's really, really nice. It's got a yogic path down the side and it's in this beautiful metallic. But one thing I will say, it's not just a paper front. It's kind of a hybrid between a hardback and a softback book. It's like stiff and comfortable. Like, I've never seen a hardback book for an oracle guide Usually they're very soft back. So I'm going to keep using this as an example because it's a similar style of deck. So in the Work Your Light deck, if I can get the box open, in the Work Your Light deck, it is just like a thin front cover, and you can immediately see the size is considerably different, which is honestly great. I know some people who have mobility issues or have difficulty reading really small writing. These can be kind of difficult because the writing is really, really tiny, and they're kind of hard to hold on to. Like, as someone who has complete mobility in their hands, even I sometimes struggle to kind of turn the pages and hold it properly. So these can sometimes be a bit too small. But this one is the size of a standard book. Honestly, I have full occult books that are this size, and you get this included with the deck, which is honestly just amazing. Now, I haven't yet told you the price of this deck, and honestly, it's not overpriced. It's a really, really great price. But the reason I haven't mentioned it is because I don't know if the price is going to go up or down. So I will put in the description box the price that I paid for it. Obviously, it might be different if you decide to go looking for this deck at the time of purchase, because prices go up and down, as you guys already know. So honestly though, for the price, to have a full guidebook like this included is amazing, because I know some of you are collectors of decks yourselves. You guys know some of these more unusual, beautifully illustrated decks are really expensive, and usually you have to buy the guidebook separate as like an additional purchase, which then takes a deck from being, say, £70 to being £100 to get the guidebook with it. But this comes with it. Now inside, the guidebook is once again beautifully, beautifully designed. Everything is so matchy-matchy, which I really, really appreciate. I was expecting the pages to be white. They aren't white. This is brilliant. So the pages are actually coloured, and by the looks of it, each category is a different colour. Oh my god. When they said that the book was colour, I thought they meant like coloured pictures. I mean, there are coloured pictures, like this one, but I wasn't expecting the entire book to be coloured. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. This is nicer than I ever could have expected. Like, I have had some beautiful, beautiful decks. So when I got some of my other decks that are very kind of fancy, elaborate decks, like the Wild Unknown, that was amazing to unbox. So I have high standards, and this book, this is the best, seriously, no joke, this is the best guidebook I have ever seen. It shows not only the cards as upright, but also as reversed, which is really, really good, and is something that most Oracle books ignore. Like, you'll find reversed cards more common in tarot books than you will in Oracle books. Usually, they just kind of bypass it as though it doesn't matter, but it does still matter. And them talking about both the positive and negative of an Oracle deck suddenly makes Oracle decks way more versatile. So I am planning on doing a full video on the difference between Tarot and Oracle, but typically one of the biggest differences is that Tarot gives really positive, really negative, and then in between cards. So it really covers everything all in one go. A lot of people's complaints with Oracle cards is that they really only give you the positive, and if there's anything negative, you never really know about it. They're kind of a timid person tarot. They don't tell you when really bad things might be coming, they just tell you when the good things are coming. They're kind of a yes man version of tarot. I know some people are not going to like that, but that's how I personally view them. They give you lots of positive, but they don't really give you the negative, and I always almost disliked that about Oracle cards. A lot of the Oracle cards that you get, they never talk about the negative aspect of doing card reading, and the fact that this actually mentions reverse cards, which in brief are the negative version of what could be a positive card. So if you are dealing cards and you get one card upside down, even if that card would typically be read as a positive card, you essentially have to turn that positivity on its head to relate to the reading in question. And this book actually talks about it, which is absolutely brilliant. So just a little bit of a walkthrough of this as I'm kind of flicking through it. There's a general introduction, then there's a little bit about understanding the deck and where the different aspects of it originated. You have a little guide for asking the deck questions, a little bit of how to prepare the cards and how to prepare yourself for a reading, and then it goes straight into this kind of division page, and then it gets onto the individual cards in question, which are all in full colour, which I thoroughly appreciate. So definitely a fantastic guidebook, and it's definitely really suitable for people who maybe struggle with having just the meanings or struggle with a really small book. This is really great. So next we have the deck itself. So I'm going to put that really carefully down there. So immediately it comes like this. So this is kind of the size I was expecting from this deck, and it does come in my favourite way of packaging, which is with a ribbon. So essentially this allows you to easily pull a deck out of the box, because you pull up on the ribbon, and then instead of destroying the edge of the box by trying to grab it out or just tipping it upside down, instead you're able to pull this and lift the deck up like that, so you can really easily get the deck out of the box, which I really appreciate, because as someone with really long nails, I don't like having to like claw at something to get it out of the box. So when you get it out, it's beautiful on both sides, and actually this is how much detail they've put into it. They've even put a little mandala on the inside as well. It's also gilded. Like, they have put so much attention to detail into this deck, even matching the colour of the ribbon to the colour of the deck. Like, I don't know what I was expecting in that way, but I definitely wasn't expecting it to be so seamless. Like, everything just fits so perfectly, and it's just so well made. And the price that I paid for this, I was not at all expecting it to be such high quality. I have really high standards when it comes to decks as well as packaging. Like, I think the packaging, especially in the modern day, is just so important, and they have killed it when it came to this deck. So thoroughly appreciate the way they've done that. So the deck itself, just to give you a comparison to size from a similar deck, if I compare it to the Work Your Light, it is just slightly, like ever so slightly bigger by maybe like 2 millimeters this way, and it is yeah, it's just slightly, just a fraction bigger, which I don't mind. Like, I'm not one of those people who needs the decks to be all the same size. So the only thing I will say about this deck that I don't like so much, and this is a real nitpick, this is only because I love decks so much that I'm really picky, is that with this similar style deck, if I hold this, it slides out really, like, I can let go, and it slides out really slowly. It's like a stiff slide. Like, the box lid is exactly the perfect size to like slowly open. Whereas this one, it feels almost as though the lid is like a millimeter or so too big. Like, it feels like it belongs to a box that's bigger. So you can actually, I don't know if you can hear it, like, it actually, like, it's so much bigger than the base of the box. It actually kind of rattles. That's the only thing I've found so far that I dislike. And yes, that is me nitpicking, and no, that isn't important to the box or the deck or anything else. That's just me kind of comparing other decks, because I know that if you're also a deck collector, you're also going to be quite nitpicky. So I do just want to tell you these things, especially if you're a little bit kind of extra and kind of sensitive to things not quite fitting right, because I know some people are. That might get slightly annoying. But look at that! They've even put a beautiful mandala on the bottom of the box, like the bit no one looks at. You've put a beautiful gilded mandala on it. This is honestly probably the prettiest packaging I've ever seen. So opening up the box is slightly not satisfying, but like the reveal in here of the beautiful flowers, like they have more of these lotus flowers inside the lid. And actually, not only that, the design goes all the way over the edges. So there's no like blank space where there isn't a design, which I also really, really appreciate. And then the cards themselves are stunning. Like, oh my goodness. That is beautiful. They are my favorite type of cards as well. They are soft touch matte cards, which are honestly the best kind of cards for me personally. I find that kind of, I don't know how to describe it, non-soft touch matte cards. So the kind where they just feel like general card, I don't like. I think they feel really, really cheap. That's just me, but that's where I stand on that. And I find that super duper shiny cards are also quite difficult to work with, because any kind of fingerprints, if it's quite warm and your hands are sweaty a little bit, it immediately leaves like a bunch of dirty fingerprints on the cards, and you just can't get rid of that. I have a deck that I'm going to be talking about that's like hiding all the way up there, that I'm going to be talking about in a future video, that actually has these shiny cards. And although the deck itself is stunning, I can't get over the shiny cards. They make it so difficult, especially if you're doing a reading in really brightly lit areas. So if you are a professional reader and you go to events or festivals or markets and whatnot, and you're reading in a really brightly downlit room, having shiny cards can make it so difficult to read, because you constantly have the glare on the cards. And if you're anything like me and you have light sensitivity, then that makes it so much harder to concentrate. So I really appreciate the matte touch cards. Okay, now we're getting on to the really good bit, the bit that I know all of you guys are waiting for. So let's get the cards out. So again, they have my favorite method of getting the cards in and out. The only other deck I have ever found with this style is actually the Wild Unknown deck. They actually also have a little pulley that you pull up, you can lift the cards out, and it allows you to do it with one hand. So if you do have limited mobility in one hand, which I know some of you probably do, because that's just generally something, not many people talk about it, but some people do really struggle with mobility in one hand or both hands. That makes it really easy to get cards out without struggling, having to try to get the cards out of the deck. And then at the bottom, you also have a mandala. This is stunning. They have put so much attention to detail into this deck. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to close up the box just so I can get it out the way. And then let's have a look at the cards themselves. So the back of the cards is beautiful. So this is the back. Actually, this is the back. I had it upside down. They are symmetrical, but I had it upside down. They are all gilded. So, I mean, just the attention to detail is beautiful. They're all this beautiful peacock blue with the mandala. And then you have the hands and the flowers. Like, it's just such a beautifully designed deck, and that's going to be something that I'm going to say a lot probably, is that they are just so beautiful. Okay, so something that I did notice that I'm not sure whether I am just getting confused or whether I'm misunderstanding or whatnot, but the actual box itself reads, Keepsake box includes a 54 oracle deck with gilded edges and full colour guidebook, but the actual deck itself just has white edges. So the back is gilded, but the edges aren't. So I am not sure whether I'm just misreading that. Can anyone let me know if I'm just misreading that? But quote, it does say, Keepsake box includes a 54 card oracle deck with gilded edges and a full colour guidebook. I could just be misreading that, but I did kind of assume that the deck would have like gold edges, like gilded edges, but it doesn't. It just has white edges. But honestly, I am not massively fussed. It would have been a nice touch for them to have gilded edges, like that would have just been like cherry on the cake. But the fact that it doesn't isn't a deal breaker for me. They're still really beautiful cards. So I think it's about time that I actually do a run through of the cards. I know that's mainly what you guys are interested in. You want to see the cards. So I am going to go through them. Now, I've had a quick flick through the cards, and The names of the cards themselves are things I can't pronounce, and you guys know I butcher pronunciation, so I think it's probably worth me just doing a little bit of a time lapse of me going through the cards, and unfortunately my pronunciation just isn't good enough, so let's just flick through the cards. So those are the cards all gone through, and honestly they are so beautiful. I love the variation in colour and also of design. I think it's great. I like it's not just all one colour scheme. I like that there is variety to tone and brightness, and also gender representation. In a lot of the other cards that I've had, only female presenting people are used in the design for the cards, but I like the fact that in this deck you also have male presenting individuals as well, and I think that that's really, really great. I think we need to open up Oracle cards to more people. Like, I know from a demographics perspective, it seems like Oracle cards are bought more by women than men. But honestly, they are such a wonderful divination tool that I would like to see more male representing cards that may be geared to a more male audience that have illustrations as beautiful as these. I know a lot of male friends of mine do use Oracle, but they mainly stick to the really neutral cards. I'd love to see more male representing cards that are as beautifully illustrated as these. That would honestly be something I would love to see. In this deck as well, I also love the use of tone. So you have very vivid cards like this front one, but then Karma is so neutral. It's so, well, it is neutral, isn't it? It's Karma. But things are just so neutral in some of the cards, and I think that's really, really beautiful. You have the very vibrant, colourful cards, but then you have more toned down cards, cards that are more calm and relaxed, and then you have cards that are very striking and visual, and it's just such a beautiful and a balanced deck. It isn't all one thing or another, it's not neutral or positive and bright, and I actually really, really like that. I spend a lot of time searching through decks. I especially like decks like this that are a little bit different, that are more unusually designed, but one thing that I personally look for is a deck that has variety. So I have seen a lot of decks that I've passed on over the years that are basically the same design in every single card, it's just one thing is different. So you'll have like a beige card, and then in the middle of the card there's just one illustration and that changes. Like, that kind of card doesn't speak to me as a person. Although I wear all black and my general colour scheme is quite dark, I really love colour. I know that might surprise some people, but I do really love vivid, bright, eye-catching colours. And that's why this deck really called out to me, because it wasn't just pastels, it wasn't just blues or browns. Instead, they have such a wide spectrum of colours. I mean, literally, just the first 4 cards, let's go with the first 4 cards, they could be from completely different decks, but you notice there are things in them that match between the cards, but the colour schemes are so different. So these are the first 4 cards of the deck. So you have this one, which is very, very almost neon colourful, and then you have this very green blue toned to the purple toned to the almost completely neutral card. And I really, really appreciate that in a deck. I appreciate a deck that isn't a one-trick pony. You know, they are able to do more than just be pink cards or blue cards. You know, I like something that's got a bit more variety. And the illustrator, oh my goodness, the illustrator of these cards is truly unbelievably talented. The way they've been able to portray the meaning of the card in such a beautiful, beautiful way. And I need to do so much more research on the actual basis of these cards, but immediately everything just ties together. And Karma is the one that really, really stands out for me in this. Is that for some people, they might see the word karma and they might go, ooh, karma, it's very cultural, let's put loads of colours on there. I like the fact that the illustrator and the creator of these cards has thought, you know, well, karma is neutral, that's why karma is karma. And so it's nice that they then use neutral colours, and there's very little emotion in the card, because karma isn't about the emotion, it's about the balance. And I really like how they've added in these cards with such significant meaning behind them, and I think it's easy to kind of dive into the card and pull out the aspects that are most important. And that's something that I in particular do struggle with in a card, or an oracle card especially, that's just like a single illustration and that's it, because then there's nothing for you to intuitively draw on. So another good example for me is this card. So this is Satya. Now I probably did not say that right in the slightest, but I like the fact that this card is more than just the immediate look at it, and they're all like this. In this card you can draw on the floral aspect, you can draw on the sun, the lady, you can draw on the bird, but you can also draw on all of this background, and it's really whatever comes to you, whatever comes to the forefront of your mind. Same goes with a card like this. There is much more in it than just the word of a card. Instead, you do have the lions, you've got the eye, you've got the moon, you've got the flowers, you have the individual in the foreground. And these type of cards allow for such diverse readings. And that's really why I like this Illustrator so, so much. I will say it when I do the video on the Work Your Light cards. These are one of the first set of oracle cards that I got that I could intuitively read from. The illustrations are so much more significant than just pretty pictures, and that's what I really, really appreciate with this Illustrator. If any of you have struggled with cards that are not detailed or don't have enough going on, or even worse, the cards that have a big block of text at the bottom explaining themselves, or the back is just the card explaining itself, I find I just can't do readings on them the same because you lose that intuitive aspect. For me, the most powerful bit of a tarot reading or an oracle reading, it's not being able to draw the card, it's not being able to do fancy spreads, it's the ability to look into the cards and pick out things that are not quite as obvious, that maybe are more hidden and subtle, and you use your psychic intuition to draw on these aspects to amplify the effect of a reading and to really connect it to the person that you're reading for. And I find that cards with so much detail in them like this are so good for intuitive readings. So all in all, what do I think of the deck? Well, obviously I haven't had a full chance to read the book or a chance to look over the cards, but honestly for the price that I found it at, I am so, so impressed. Not only with the cards themselves, but also with the book and the overall packaging to start off with. For the amount of money that I paid for it, I was not expecting such unbelievably high quality. And I do have rather high standards when it comes to this, and this surpasses it above and beyond. And honestly, I'd go as far as to say that I'm gonna find it really difficult to get a deck that actually surpasses this. For the price of the deck, it is such good quality. It is such value for money with the large book that you get as well. And also the deck is just stunningly, unbelievably beautiful. So that's just a little bit of a walkthrough of the deck. I'll have to play around with it a little bit more and let you guys know how I found the deck to actually work with, because obviously the prettiness of a deck does not equal the usefulness of it during workings, rituals and readings, so I'll have to let you guys know on that. But this was just my little bit of a run through of a Yogic Path oracle, and honestly, so impressed, so unbelievably impressed. So if you're interested in this deck, I will actually put a link to it on Amazon down in the description box. Now, if possible, it is great to buy this from small retailers and small businesses, but actually I had a look and I couldn't really find anyone in the UK anyway that was selling this deck, so I did get mine from Amazon. The link down below is an affiliate link, so if you do purchase through that link, I do get a little bit of help to support the channel. But obviously you don't have to use that link. You can just search for a Yogic Path in Amazon or in Google and you will find it that way as well. So no pressure to use that link whatsoever. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you were interested in this deck, that this video was actually really useful to you. I know that I really enjoy watching this kind of video when I'm personally looking for decks, so I hope that it helped you on your search for the perfect oracle deck. So if you did enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like. It really, really means so much to me, and it lets me know that you really enjoy this kind of content. I am hoping to come out with more videos like this in the future, so if you're interested in sticking around, I do post new videos every Wednesday and every Saturday at 6 PM. And also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, video ideas, or just want to chit chat with the community down in the comment section, feel free to post a comment and chat with the ever-growing community. I love you guys so much. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I wish you have a marvelous, magical day. Bye!